now, right across Australia. Summer Nights with Luke Grant.
Now, all sorts of people celebrate all sorts of things at this time of year. But let's have a chat with a man and his wife. They'll be celebrating a great achievement this Christmas. Lex and Tricia Thwaite from Mackay in Queensland have been married for 35 years. Last year, Lex noticed a sore throat and a lump in his neck. That led to the diagnosis of a 4-centimetre cancerous tumour at the back of his tongue. Now, Lex spent 7 weeks in Townsville, a 4-hour drive away from home, to undergo radiation therapy. Now, Lex and Tricia will be spending Christmas at home with their kids and grandkids thanks to successful therapy. He's now fully recovered, and we all think that's fantastic. But here's the thing. 1 in 2 cancer patients in Australia would benefit from radiation therapy, but only 1 in 3 actually get it. Doesn't seem fair, does it? I'm delighted to tell you that Lex and Tricia Thwaites are on the line for a chat. Thank you both very much indeed for your time, and I'm delighted to hear that the result of the treatment was so successful. Lex, I might start with you if I might. Can you describe the weeks leading up to your diagnosis? Did you kind of think at the back of your mind something's not right here? Just tell me what led you to go to the doctor, or did Tricia say, "Oi, you got to go and see someone"?
No, I sort of felt a little lump, and I sort of didn't worry about it. And probably, I'd say two weeks went by, and because I had a big beard, and I knew no one could see it. So, and then after about a week, it started getting bigger, and it just got to a big thing, and I took the wife to work, and I thought, oh man, I better go and just check this out. It's getting too big. Yeah,
it was in the lymph node at this stage.
It was getting to a stage where, not that it was annoying me, but it was just getting bigger. It got to a golf ball by then.
Oh, so wow!
This is only a matter of 2.5, 3 weeks,
But the beard was still bigger than the golf ball.
But I just thought, well, I'll go. I never told my wife anything about this. I just kept it to myself because I didn't want to worry her. And so I went to the quack, and she said, oh, we better take a sample. And I said, oh, I haven't got time. I said, I've got to pick my wife up. So I put it off, and she said, well, I want to see you Thursday. So anyway, I went back on the Thursday, and they said, this is serious. So they told me to go to the cancer place, and they put a needle in it. And of course, in the meantime, I still hadn't told my wife. Anyway, I got home, and we got visitors, actually, from down south, and we're having a few ales. And anyway, blow me dead, and my wife comes home from school, and she goes, what's that Band-Aid? And you could just see it. The beard didn't quite where they put the needle in. And anyway, I just said, she didn't actually say what it was. She said, did you scratch yourself? And I didn't answer. I just shook my head and laughed, and smiled. And anyway, so, and then when I got when they said it was serious, well, they told me I would have to go straight away to Townsville. So that's when my wife was, got involved.
Tricia, you sound like you've got to be a bit of a detective around this bloke. Would that be right?
Oh, absolutely. He never needs to go to the doctor. He's a very healthy man, never smokes, has a few quiet beers, loves his footy and his cricket and everything. But, he never gets sick, never goes to the doctor. So I should have been suspicious of the fact that he actually went to the doctor with the Band-Aid and everything. But, I think in retrospect he was probably not thinking that it was as serious as it was, and it wasn't until they actually said to him at stage 4, and, he then had to tell me, of course. And it was just like our world fell apart,
Yeah, it's
no stage 5.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right. I mean, it's a real game changer. Tell me about treatment. Did they instantly say, righto, you need to do this, and it involves a bit of a drive? Did they go straight to radiation?
Yeah, Lex has actually pointed to me to answer this, if that's okay. we saw an oncologist here in Mackay the same day we found out that he had cancer, and they actually organised for a PET scan, and then the following week when those results come back, he referred us to Townsville because it's head and neck cancer, and they don't treat that in Mackay. They do other radiation here, but not head and neck cancer. So we were referred to Townsville, and which is 4 hours, as you know, away, and we ended up. They said that we would be there for at least 6 weeks of treatment. It ended up being 7 weeks of treatment, but we were there for about 2 to 3 weeks before they started the treatment, and then for about another month after the end of that 7 weeks. So we were up there for about 3 months, all up. And so, I didn't know anything about radiation therapy because it's never entered our lives before. But, so we just drove up there, and I have to say, the people that cared for us, I think I can't say it enough how wonderful they were. But we had lots of appointments. There was a huge team looking after Lex and, sorting out what they could do. They couldn't operate, obviously, because he would have lost his whole tongue. So the only treatment was radiation, and, that did have its side effects. But, the other side effect of not doing it was not to live,
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, how does it knock you about? What radiation treatment? I've heard a little, but I don't know much about it. It does. Is it hair loss, etc.? Tell me what happens to you.
Oh, look, I think it would be different to all people that have been through it, but I mean, it's
hard.
It's not good.
It was very much like the radiation was targeted. So by this time there were two tumours, one on his tongue, and then they had to focus also on the lymph node. So he was receiving quite a fair bit of radiation. So when I looked after him and watched the start, of the treatment and right through to the end, it's like having a really severe burn. It's like a really severe burn, but it's quite burnt on the outside. Your skin's peeling, and it has to be dressed and looked after. But then that's actually going on the inside of your throat as well. So they prepared us in the beginning, and they said that you won't be able to swallow, you won't be able to eat or drink. So the preparation was for him to have a peg inserted into his stomach, which all his food and the food was a prepared resource thing. He was fed by that the whole 3 months in Townsville, and probably for about 2 months back up here, down here in Mackay when we came home. So, and it was just lots of pain relief because of the burn. You can imagine the burning. That's the main huge side effect from it. Lots of really strong pain from the radiation itself. But, it is a hard journey. But, I mean, we're so thankful and feel so blessed that, we've come out the other end of the tunnel and we've got our life back. Like last Christmas. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask, it seems to me extraordinary that if 1 in 2 patients can benefit from this, but only 1 in 3 actually get it.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell are we doing?
I know. I don't know. For us, and I know, for us in Mackay in central Queensland, we have to travel. So a lot of people travel to Townsville to actually have, head and neck cancer treatments, but you can get other radiation treatments here in Mackay. But I think I sometimes don't know whether it's the unknown of it all or I really don't know, because for us, we didn't know anything about radiation therapy before we went. And it was it was scary, but having been there now, I would tell people to just go, go and do it. Because it's not as invasive as surgery. And Lex had chemotherapy as well. So the chemotherapy, he had big doses of that once a week for 7 weeks as well. But that was basically to mop up anything the radiation didn't get. So
yes.
So
well, he's living and breathing, and I can tell from the tone of your voice that you've been in obviously a very dark place, but come through the other side, and to be, able to speak to people like me and just get the message out there, that this is a thing and people need to probably make sure that if it's an option, that they do what they can to take it up. I'm going to speak to a doctor in a moment, but just two final, not so important questions. Does he still have the beard?
No, so that's sad.
I lost all that, and I lost a lot of whiskers. I think I've seen more hair on a piece of bacon of them more than I eat now. So,
does he look, Tricia? Does he look? Is he more handsome without the beard?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think the handsome ever come in there in my life.
I think I love him. If you can love anyone more than you do after 35 years of marriage, I'm just so proud of this man, what he went through and what he endured, and he did that for his family. It was a very hard time, and he was in some very dark places along the way, but he did it for us. So, I mean, all I see is this wonderful man that I'm so proud of. He's so brave, and, he's our hero, really, to actually have endured that and done that for us. And last Christmas, we came back from Townsville, and the treatment, the radiation, we found out, continues to work 3 months after the last round of treatment, sort of thing. So the first few months at home here were pretty hard for him as well. And so last Christmas we just wrote that off pretty much. I think probably a lot of people did in lots of ways as well with everything going on in the world.
Yeah.
But so I replaced our Christmas tree and lights with faith, hope and love, which is what we had. So this year we've got the Christmas tree up, the decorations, and, Lex he's not able to eat a lot of solid food because he has trouble swallowing. So
yes.
The radiation compromises his taste. He doesn't make saliva and he never will again. So that's another thing that we have to look after. But he's starting to eat like a little bit more things, but he needs more moist things to get it down. But and he can't taste, so he has, after the first mouthful, he can't taste anything after that. But he does enjoy having a fork. Can I say that? A beer.
You certainly can. Hey, you know what? In that last answer, I think we all just worked out why you've been together for 35 years. What a beautiful couple. There's so much bad in the world with pandemics and those 4 kids in Tasmania. It's an awful story. And then we just hear two beautiful Australians who've been in such a dark place, but the love you obviously have for each other, it's just it's just lovely. I don't know if there's another word. Can I thank you for your time and wish you a Merry Christmas? And hearing that Lex loves his footy, he won't mind me saying go the Blues, will you, Lex?
Mate, that's a little bit getting below the belt, but I am a real Bulldog supporter in Western Sydney, mate.
All right. Okay. Well, I won't tell you the team I go for, but it's lovely to talk to you both. I wish you many happy years together. It's just been really nice, and I'm sorry you went through that, but
thanks, Luke. But
pleasure.
Also, too, I'll just put a little bit in. You really got to think of the carer because she went through hell with me, honestly, with just what I went through. I don't think people put enough emphasis on the carer too. So,
good on you. Thank you both. Thank you both very much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You
mate.
too. You too. Wonderful to speak. I want to bring in Dr. Madhavi Chilkuri, who's a member of the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Radiologists, and the doctor is on the line. Thank you for your time. That is such a, it's such a sad story because there's Lex. He never seems to get crook, and all of a sudden he's in stage 4 and would have been in such a dark place, that great unknown when you get the word and you don't know, what might happen next. But gosh, radiology treatment, 50% of patients could benefit from it, but doctor, only 1 in 3 get it. I've got to ask you, why is that?
Hi, Luke.
Hi.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Hello to Tricia and Lex as well, as always. Nice to hear you. Yeah, you're right. About half of them need the treatment during their cancer journey. 1 in 3 need it during the cancer journey, but only about it's the other way around. You said right. 1 in 2 need it in the cancer journey, but about 1 in 3 get it.
Yeah.
And there are a number of reasons for that. Luke, as Tricia mentioned, access is one of them. But in Lex's case, I must say I was very, very pleased when his GP acted very quickly and referred him to the cancer team in Mackay, who then referred him over to Townsville because they were very aware of what Lex requires and what kind of team is required to manage Lex's case. So they referred him over to Townsville, where there is a comprehensive cancer service for treatment of head and neck cancer, such as Lex's. And this has been available here for many years now. Lex comes over here and assessed by a number of people, and I know we overwhelmed him a little bit.
Yes, but it's amazing to go from, I had a melanoma diagnosis, and and that goes back a few years now, and I ended up, you think, oh, is this the end? What happens? And the way you beautiful people in this part of our, important part of our society, in health, the way you treat people is just, it knocks you over. And you know what? Because you get so well treated, and because you get that sense of being cared for, because you have these clever people who are really invested in getting you well, it not just helps you physically, it helps you mentally. And I'm sure you do. You know that, don't you? The impact you have on people, the work you do, it's just marvelous.
Yes, you're right. Look, the cancer diagnosis is a big shock for anyone.
Yeah.
And then we offer this treatment, which is not easy either. I'm always amazed when I see patients go through treatment and come out the other end. I'm always amazed looking at them, but such is the human spirit. If you look at Lex and Trish themselves, I know they were quite overwhelmed with all the information that we gave them, but it was so important for them to understand what the disease is, understand what the treatment options are, understand the side effects of the treatment, what their expectations should be from the treatment. We gave treatment to Lex with an intention to cure him. And there was this very, very if I might call it, a highly skilled set of people that were involved in planning his treatment. And we gave all that information to him, but we also gave him the bad news in a way that you are going to be hit hard. You are going to have side effects that are going to impact on your basic function, such as speech, swallowing, potentially airway, and all those that we take for granted. And then we were expecting them to go through it, and they did.
Yeah.
It is a hard one. So it's not just, you're right, it's just not treating them with radiation or treating them with surgery or any other treatment, but actually walking with them, listening to them. Lex and Trish were fantastic in advocating for themselves. They asked the right questions. They picked up the phone and called us at the right time without hesitating. And I must say, they even shared their low moments with us, and that allowed us to understand and walk with them, give them the required support, and they've come out pretty successful. And I feel so proud looking at the way they have gone through their journey, and I think we all are celebrating now. Yeah,
fantastic. Hey, thank you for all you do, and thank you so much for talking to me. Really appreciate it.
No problem at all. All the best to both of them.
And to you, Doctor, and to the team there. Wow, we put a lot of time into sorting out what sort of stories we cover here on any program we do, but I just love that story. I really do. I mean, and for Lex and Tricia, all those really difficult times and having to move away for a number of months, and the treatment, you heard the doctor say there, somewhat unforgiving, but it's not, and it really isn't about just the physical side. The doctors are buying in to save your life, and the fact that you have the conversation and the dark ones and the good ones, it's a beautiful human experience at a really ugly time. Aren't we lucky to have people like Dr. Madhavi Chilkuri up there helping people like Lex and Tricia. I thought I'd share that story with you. And I just make a call to those working in government that might be listening and others. How is it that 1 in 2 cancer patients would benefit from radiation, but it only gets to 1 in 3? I know we've got a lot of things to fix, but, it's not a bad thing to try and get on top of pretty soon, huh? Yes, what a lovely story that was. 14 minutes to midnight, 14 to 11, 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 14 to 11.